Hello students, welcome to the session. Today let us discuss about some basic terms used in chemistry. Let us start with the definition of chemistry. Chemistry is a branch of science which deals with composition, structure and properties of matter. Mainly there are three branches in chemistry: physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry. The physical properties of the matter and physical transformation of matter and the properties of matter are studied under physical chemistry. The first PUC physical chemistry chapters are some basic concepts of chemistry, structure of atom, chemical equilibrium, chemical thermodynamics, states of matter. The next is inorganic chemistry. You know, there are 118 elements are present in the periodic table. Out of 118 elements, 117 elements are studied under inorganic chemistry. Therefore, we can define inorganic chemistry as it is the study of elements other than carbon is inorganic chemistry. In the inorganic chemistry, the preparation and properties of elements and their compounds are studied. The first PUC inorganic chemistry chapters are dihydrogen, S block elements, P block elements, redox reactions and classification and periodicity in properties of elements. The next is organic chemistry. The study of carbon and its compounds is called organic chemistry. See, carbon has a special property called catenation. Because of this catenation property, carbon can form many number of compounds. Therefore, the study of carbon and its compounds is studied under a separate branch of chemistry. It is called organic chemistry. What is catenation? I think all of you know. Still, I will define the definition of catenation. The self-linking property of carbon is called catenation. Self-linking property of carbon is called catenation. Carbon can link with large number of same carbon atoms through covalent bond. This property of carbon is called catenation. That is regarding the branches of chemistry. See, from all these branches we have the chapters, and in the examination separate parts are there for each branch. In part A, from all the three branches you will get the question. It is a 1 mark question. Part B, 2 mark question. In 2 mark question also from all these branches you will get the question. In part C, only inorganic chemistry questions will be there. In part D, there are 2 mains, 4th main and 5th main. In 4th main, only physical chemistry questions will be there, and in 5th main, only organic chemistry questions. Okay. The next, we will move on to the terms used in chemistry. First, we will define matter. What is matter? Anything which occupies space and which has mass is called matter. This matter is classified in 2 ways. First one, physical classification. Second one, chemical classification. In physical classification, this matter is classified into three types: solids, liquids and gases. The properties of solids are: in solids there is a closely packed arrangement of particles and there is no much freedom for the movement of particles, and solids have definite shape and volume. Liquids: in liquid there is an arrangement of particles and there is a freedom for the movement of particles, and these liquids have definite volume but it does not have definite shape. Gases: in gases the particles are freely moving and there is no definite shape and volume for the gas molecules. Next, chemical classification. Under chemical classification, this matter is classified into two types: pure substances and mixture. Pure substances and mixture. Pure substances are form of matter which has definite proportion of the components and which cannot be separated by ordinary physical methods. These pure substances are further classified as elements and compounds. Elements and compounds. Elements. All of you heard the word element. The example for elements, you know, there are 118 elements are present in the periodic table. All are the examples. Let us consider some of that: hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sodium, potassium, copper, silver, etc. These are the example for elements. Now how to define? These elements are the form of pure substances which cannot be decomposed by ordinary chemical methods. These elements are the form of pure substances which cannot be decomposed by ordinary chemical methods. Okay, the next is compounds. Compounds are the form of pure substances which can be decomposed by ordinary chemical methods, and these compounds have fixed proportion of atoms. For example, we will consider water. In water there are 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, and the proportion of hydrogen and oxygen is 2:1, or the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in water is 2:1. Similarly, another example, methane. Methane is formed by the combination of 1 carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atom. The proportion of carbon and hydrogen is 1:4. Proportion of hydrogen and oxygen in water is 2:1, and the proportion of carbon and hydrogen in methane is 1:4. Similarly, another example, methane. Another example, ammonia. In ammonia, one nitrogen atom is combined with the 3 hydrogen atoms, and the ratio of nitrogen and hydrogen is 1:3. Next, mixture. There are 2 types of mixture: homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. What is a mixture? 2 or more components are mixed together in any proportion, then the resulting substance is called mixture. Next, we will define what is homogeneous mixture. To explain this, I will take sugar solution as an example. Sugar solution as an example. For the preparation of sugar solution, what we are doing? We are adding sugar to water. Then what happens? Sugar dissolves in the solution. Before adding, sugar is in the solid state and water is in the liquid state. After the formation of sugar solution, both sugar and water are in the same phase. Therefore, I will say this sugar solution is the example for homogeneous mixture. So, how to define this homogeneous mixture? 2 or more components forming a same phase is called homogeneous mixture. Similarly, if you prepare salt solution, before adding salt to water, salt is in the solid state. But after dissolving salt in water, it forms liquid state. Salt and water are in the liquid state. Therefore, the 2 components, salt and water, are in the same phase. Therefore, salt solution is also the example for homogeneous mixture. Next, heterogeneous mixture. Example for heterogeneous mixture is salt solution, sand solution. For the preparation of sand solution, sand is added to water. Dissolve it. After the dissolution, the sand will settle at the bottom of the container. We can see sand particles at the bottom of the container. So, sand is in the solid state and water is in the liquid state. 2 components are present in the sand solution are in the different phase. Then such a solution is called heterogeneous mixture. So, how to define it? 2 or more components forming a different phase is called heterogeneous mixture. The next term we will consider molecule. When we consider molecule, we have to consider molecule of the element and molecule of the compound. Molecule of the element and molecule of the compound. Molecule of the element and molecule of the compound. Say, 2 or more atoms of the same element combine together to form molecule of the element. For example, hydrogen molecule, nitrogen molecule, sulfur molecule, phosphorus molecule are the example for molecule of the element. Say, for the formation of hydrogen molecule, 2 hydrogen atoms are combined and it is a diatomic molecule. For the formation of nitrogen molecule, two nitrogen atoms are combined together, and it is also a diatomic molecule. See here, sulfur molecule. Sulfur exists in S8 form. That means 8 sulfur atoms are combined together to give sulfur molecule, and it is a polyatomic molecule. Phosphorus molecule. Phosphorus exists in P4 form. That means 4 phosphorus atoms are combined together to form this phosphorus molecule. It is a tetraatomic molecule. Molecule of the compound. 2 or more atoms of the different elements combine together to form molecule of the compound. The example: water, ammonia, methyl alcohol, etc. See here, hydrogen and oxygen are combined. In the next example, nitrogen and hydrogen atoms are combined, and the third example, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms are combined. 2 or more atoms of the different elements combine together to form molecule of the compound. Next, valency or oxidation number. The definition of valency or oxidation number is the actual or apparent charge possessed by the atom in a molecule. The actual or apparent charge possessed by the atom in a molecule is called either valency or oxidation number. Or in other words, number of electrons gained, lost or shared during the chemical bond formation is called oxidation number or valency. To explain this, I will take alkali metals as an example. The alkali metals are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. Out of this, francium is a different one. It is a radioactive element. Now these elements shows the valency +1. This element shows the valency +1. How you will say this element shows +1 valency? To explain this, I will take sodium as an example. The atomic number of sodium is 11. If we write the electron configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. This is the valence shell. Valence shell of sodium contains only 1 electron. During the chemical bond formation, this sodium can lose this valence electron, or sodium donates this valence electron to other atom, and it is converted as Na plus ion. So the valency of this alkali metals is always +1. If the atom loses its valence electron, then it gets positive charge. If it loses 1 electron, it gets 1 positive charge. If it loses 2 electrons, then it gets 2 positive charges. If it loses 3 electrons, it gets 3 positive charges. So alkali metals shows the valency +1. Alkaline earth metals beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. Out of this, radium is a radioactive element. This element shows the valency +2. This element shows the valency +2. This alkali metal shows the valency plus 1, and this alkaline earth metals shows the valency plus 2. That means these alkaline earth metals loses their 2 valence electrons and converted as 2 positively charged ion. I will take beryllium as an example. The electronic configuration of beryllium is 1s2, 2s2, 1s2, 2s2. Atomic number is 4. So the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2. Therefore, the valence shell contains how many electrons? Only 2 electrons, and after losing the 2 electron, beryllium is converted as beryllium 2 plus ion. Therefore, these alkali metals can form a positively charged ion, and only one positively charge is present with the ion. Therefore, they are called monovalent ions. These alkaline earth metals can form divalent ions because they have 2 positive charges along with them. Therefore, they are called divalent ions.